What if when you die, instead of resting peacefully, you now have to compete to be the ghost with the most? Welcome back. Before I get into any horror news, I feel like I have to tell you what I am currently looking at outside of my window. This is an audio only podcast, so I am going to do my best to describe this for you. Across from my apartment is an empty lot, and one of my neighbors of retirement age has been trying to fly a kite for the past 3 or 4 years to no avail. It's never gotten off the ground, and I don't know why he picks the worst days to go out there, because it's the hottest day that we've had all month so far. There's a lot of humidity in the air and little to no wind, and he's trying to get that kite up so bad. I feel like it's just a cycle that will never end. This kite will never go in the air. It's just a metaphor for madness. Anyways, let's get into some quick horror news for the week. So, Terrifier 4 confirmed to be scheduled for a 2027 release to be set on New Year's Eve. A Quiet Place 3 has officially started filming. Sam Raimi is allegedly remaking the 1978 ventriloquist dummy classic Magic and will be getting Iron Lung for purchase on YouTube May 31st. Horror is going so strong, guys. This past weekend, Alex and I did quite a bit of secondhand shopping, and I picked up some insane physical media I cannot wait to share with you. Anyways, I heard a distant ringing in the background. My phone was ringing. It was my coworker. I just did her hair, and she was asking if I could give her a perm. That is way out of my wheelhouse. But anyways, back, where was I? Okay, so we did a bunch of physical media shopping. We collected a bunch of things I personally didn't think I would ever get my hands on. One of them being an Emmanuel film. If you know, you know. I just love horror. I love movies. I love physical media collecting. And speaking of that, today's movie is equal parts horrific, hilarious, and full of heart. I cried so many times watching Dead Talents Society. I loved this movie so much. It's a true treat. So, if you haven't already, go ahead and give the Get Weird podcast a 5-star rating wherever you're listening, a comment, possibly a thumbs up. Hope you are having a wonderful day wherever you are. It has been a busy week. Let's jump into it. From 2024, co-written and directed by John Shui, the movie follows ghosts who want to become the spookiest of urban legends and most successful and famous stars in the underworld through their scare tactics and performances amongst the living. So essentially, you have a bunch of spirits, urban legends, things like that. They are all just scaring the shit out of people for their own entertainment. This movie is honestly one of the freshest horror concepts to come out in a while. Imagine if Beetlejuice, Monsters Inc., Perfect Blue, reality TV shows like American Idol, The X Factor, a bunch of influencers, and also Asian ghost cinema all got blended together into one super emotional, messy, hilarious, neon-soaked afterlife satire. At first glance, it looks like a goofy supernatural comedy about ghosts competing to scare humans. But underneath all of the absurdity, the film is about relevance, failure, insecurity, internet culture, loneliness, and the desperate human need to be remembered. And it hits the emotions hard. In the world of Dead Talent Society, ghosts don't simply haunt people for fun. They have to remain relevant in order to continue existing. The afterlife functions almost like some sort of bizarre entertainment industry where ghosts have to compete to become legendary urban myths. The more memorable and terrifying a ghost becomes, the more successful they are in the spirit world. And this story follows a painfully awkward rookie ghost who discovers she only has a short amount of time left before she completely disappears forever. She's desperate to survive, but she gets recruited by a struggling ghost talent agency run by the chaotic but super handsome and extremely convincing Makoto and former haunting superstar Catherine. And Catherine's storyline is just so heartbreaking. But together, they try to turn the rookie into a successful urban legend while competing against newer viral style hauntings in the internet age of ghost celebrities. Now, what unfolds is a mixture of horror comedy, satire, emotional character drama, and genuinely heartfelt moments, all about identity and self-worth. And when I said this movie was a treat, I truly meant it. The film became one of the most talked about genre films of 2024 and earned major praise for its originality, emotional themes, the world building. One of the strongest themes, though, throughout the movie is visibility. Everyone in the film wants to be seen and they want it bad. In this movie, ghosts literally disappear if people stop remembering them. That becomes a metaphor for not only internet culture and social media validation, but celebrity obsession, artistic insecurity, fear and failure of irrelevance, and what happens if you stop remembering the people who die. The movie basically asks, what are people willing to do in order to feel remembered? And I think that's a great modern horror concept, especially now when so much is tied to algorithms, content creation, performance, and public validation. John Shui previously directed Detention, the 2019 Taiwanese horror film. It's an adaptation of a video game, and after the heavy emotional tone of Detention, he wanted to make something more comedic and chaotic while still exploring anxiety and identity. The concept for Dead Talent Society reportedly existed years before filming, and John Sui and co-writer Vincent Tsai even created a teaser project before the full movie was even developed. The teaser generated major online attention in Taiwan, which eventually helped turn the concept into a feature film. The production design is one of the film's biggest strengths. Everything is so colorful, theatrical, exaggerated, without losing any of the emotional realism. The haunted hotel was heavily redesigned in order to give it a more retro hotel atmosphere inspired by the 70s and 80s. It's just a fun movie with so much depth. There's so many nods to familiar horror movies in this specific one. It's just an all-around good time. I promise you will not be let down with this one. It is a roller coaster of emotions in the best way possible. And that was Dead Talent Society, a movie that somehow manages to be hilarious, chaotic, emotionally devastating, and somehow comforting, all at the same time. Beneath all of the ghost competitions, internet satire, over-the-top hauntings, it's a story about how people just desperately want to matter to one another, want to leave some kind of mark behind. And I think that's what makes the movie hit so hard. It understands the fear of being forgotten, the fear of not standing out, the fear that maybe you're not talented enough, interesting enough, successful enough. But by the end, the film rejects all of that. It reminds us that just existing, being awkward, being imperfect, emotional, messy, it's all enough, which is kind of beautiful for a movie about dead influencers trying to become famous urban legends. I absolutely love this movie. It's easily one of the most creative horror comedies to come out in recent years, and I really hope more people discover it because it deserves a massive cult following. And I would like to know what you thought about this movie. Did the emotional side hit for you like it did for me? Did you also enjoy the comedy aspects? And if you were a ghost in the afterlife, what would you do to be an urban legend? How would you go about making a lasting impact in the afterlife? So thank you for hanging out for another week. If you enjoyed this episode, make sure to follow the podcast, leave a rating, share the episode with your favorite horror-loving friend. And in saying all of that, thank you so much for being here for another week. Thank you for listening, and thank you so much for being weird. Stay strange, stay spooky, and don't let yourself disappear.